what's up? This is Alex. I'm starting this new series today where I'm going over a couple of games that I find interesting because I'm really into games, all kinds of games, card games, board games, gambling like poker and all that stuff. And I'm going to give tips and tricks to you on how to win all those popular games. Some of those tips are going to involve strategies like mathematical advantages to get for yourself. Some of them are going to involve bending the rules a little bit because I'm really into finding that stuff out. And today we're going to cover Tic Tac Toe, and this is not going to involve any cheating because, Tic Tac Toe is one of the few games that I know that you can't really cheat in, like without getting noticed, obviously. I'm going to show you two different variations. One is going to be obviously the main one that people know and usually play and like to play a lot. One's going to be a little bit different. It's going to flip the game on its head, and it's going to be exciting. So I'm looking forward to let you know all the ways to win at this game and usually be successful playing it. So let's get into it. So one basic point of knowledge that I want to get across before getting into it is that the center and the corners on the tic-tac-toe field are usually stronger than the sides. And that's very easy to explain because the center and the corners can be involved in more ways of winning. They can be involved in all kinds of different directions, whereas the sides cannot be involved in winning diagonally. And so the corners and the center are usually going to be more important and stronger squares in the game, and we're going to make good use of that, and knowing that is going to help us a lot going through these games. Alright, so the first variation of the game that I'm going to cover today is the widely known regular version of tic-tac-toe. You all know how this looks. You got this grid, it's 3 by 3. Someone draws X's, the other one draws O's. And the basic strategy of this game is to get 3 of your signs into a row. It can be horizontally, can be vertical, and it can be diagonally, whatever you like. There's 2 ways to go around this. So all that you ever need if you're going to win a tournament or like a series of games against your friends, you're going to need 1 win. Because tic-tac-toe is a game that's predestined to be drawn pretty much every time. If both people know what they're doing, it's going to be a draw by force. So what I need to do is, in the first few games, just get 1 win, and from there on, I'm going to always try to draw every other game. That's how you win, alright? So, in the classic variant, there is 2 options. If you happen to be the first one to take your sign, what you should do, you should always start in a corner, right? You will always start in the corner, contrary to popular belief of starting in the middle because it covers the field or whatever. You want to start in the corner, alright? Now your opponent has, I mapped this down to about 3 types of choices. First one would be, if he picks any side, the next move that you do is you go for the other corner that would threat the first combination for you to win. So for example, right, if you go into the bottom right corner and your opponent will take the bottom side, you'll go to the top right corner with your next move, alright? Which already threatens to win you the game on the right side, so he has to react to that. He's gonna have to put his mark there, and once he does that, you're gonna capture the middle, and you got 2 threats to win, and there is no way he can defend that. You already won the game because you could finish either in the top left or in the bottom left corner. And I'm not going to go through every single scenario because you can imagine this like by just spinning the playing field around. Now you could turn it around by 90 degrees, 180 and 270 degrees. It's always going to work out the same, right? If he picks any side, you're going to grab another corner. He'll have to defend your first threat of finishing immediately. And that's how you put up 2 threats, right? The basis of the game is that you need to put up 2 ways at the same time to win the game. Once you manage that, there is no way your opponent can defend that, obviously, right? So the second opportunity that he'll have is he can pick any corner, right? I'm going to always say we're going to pick the bottom right corner. Like I said, we can always turn that around and spin it whatever way we want to. So we pick the bottom right corner and our opponent is going to pick the top right corner. What we're going to do is we'll pick the bottom left corner, creating that first threat. And it's going to look, as you can already see, pretty much the same. He's going to have to go to the bottom side. He's going to have to defend it. So you want to calculate ahead at all times, like 2 to 3 moves maximum, because there isn't more in the game, how to create that trap of having 2 opportunities to finish the game. So in this case, we're going to capture the top left corner of the field. There's nothing he could do at this point, there's 2 traps he needs to defend. He can finish in the middle or on the left side. He can only cover 1, so that's an easy win for us again. And here's actually the only way to defend against this, alright? So we're gonna start in the corner, and the only way to draw this game from that point on is to capture the center if you're the second player. If you do anything but go center, you'll immediately lose the game, and that's also going to be the way, the strategy we're going to defend once we're going second, right? So say if they go center, what you're going to do is you're going with the opposite corner of the one that you picked first. That'll give you the most opportunity to catch him making a mistake and possibly still win this game, alright? So let's say we're going bottom right corner, he's going center, and we're going top left corner. Now from this point, he's got two options. He can either go in a corner or he could go to a side, right? If he goes to a side, this game is going to end in a draw at all times, because what's going to happen is there's just going to be a chain of threats that everyone needs to react to one by one by one until the board is filled and no one was going to have 3 in a row. If he goes to a corner though, it's pretty easy to see. We're going to win this game. Say if he goes bottom left corner, we're going to easily block that threat by going top right, and there's an easy double threat for us now. Top side, right side, no way to defend that. You know, you'd expect people to be able to calculate ahead, but really the whole strategy is to win the very first game that you start yourself. When your opponent doesn't know the theory, when your opponent hasn't studied the game, and when your opponent doesn't know what they're doing. All you need is one win, because you're going to also know the strategy of how to never lose when you go in second, alright? So say you go in second, right? I told you already that the strongest move to start off with would be to go into any corner, and the only way to defend that is to hit the center. So that's what you're going to do. Whenever your opponent hits a corner, you're just going to hit the center, and you're going to play down the theory that I just told you about on the other side, alright? Say your opponent plays the theory perfectly, goes corner, you go center, he goes opposite corner. You're not stupid enough to not pick a side here, because you already know how it works. All you need to know is basically corner first. If your opponent is a 2, go center. If they don't do it, that's a weaker move. You'll usually still not be able to win a game that your opponent started, just simply because with their second move, like pretty much everyone is going to start, you know, building the first threat that you're going to have to react to. But when you do it correctly, it will always lead to that chain I've talked about, with everyone defending the previous threat of their opponent and no one ever getting to win this game, alright? So as I said, all you need to do is accomplish one single win, and you can play 20 games after that. You'll draw every single one of them by just following this simple theory. And it doesn't matter if your opponent has figured all this out by himself right now, because you'll always be up this one win that he cannot get back from the very first or second game. And that's going to win you the tournament, right? That's going to win you the whole thing. You know, Tic Tac Toe isn't a game with enough depth to really be interesting 10, 15, 20 games deep. You know, everyone will know what they're doing by then. But that's all you need, you know, all you need is that one win and you get it done. So, alright, so to summarize the first variation of the game a little bit, because I know not all of you at the time I could be bothered to sit through all that explanation that I did in 8 or 9 minutes, alright? So basically what you need to know is there's 2 ways you're going to go about this. You're either starting or you're not starting. And when you're starting, you want to win. And when you're not starting, you're looking for a draw. And the basic strategy that you're always going to follow is when you're starting, you're hitting a corner. Alright, you're hitting a corner, and the only way to defend that is to hit the center. That's basically all you need to know about this game right there. I can cut it off with that. That's all you need to know, because the rest you can figure out in your head while you're playing it, thinking for 5 seconds. But I'm going to tell you anyway, alright? So gonna hit the corner. If your opponent hits anything but the center, you're going to hit one of the other corners at the same side of the corner that you hit first. You know? So not the one across from it usually, one of the other ones, alright? And you're going to start your first threat. He's going to have to block it. You grab the center, and you're gonna have 2 threats that your opponent can't defend at the same time. It's very, very easy, alright? If your opponent does hit the center with his second move, all you can do is go across, alright? That's the one case where you want to hit the corner across from your first one. That's the most efficient way to play in that scenario. It's usually going to lead to a draw, because your opponent from this point on will most likely hit a side, and you need to hit a side there. If he hits the corner, obviously, you're going to hit the other corner, you're going to win the game. If it's a side, it's going to lead to a chain of threats that each and every one has to block one by one by one till the board is filled up and there's no winner there, alright? So that's easy how that works, and that's also going to be your strategy when you're not going first. Say your opponent hits the corner, you know the only way to defend that is hit the center. If he hits across, hit the side, and you're pretty much in that chain. If he does anything but do that, he's not playing the best way anyway. You're always going to lead the game into a variant where it's going to lead to this chain of exchanging threats and having to block them. You can't expect to really win the game when you're going second, because that's just not you know, the area of play doesn't allow for that very much unless your opponent makes horrible mistakes, which most people won't do when they think about it for a little bit. So that's all you need to know. Maybe a bit more interesting, actually, the second variant that we're going to talk about, so let's get ready for that. Alright, so let's get into the second variant of this game, which I think is a bit more interesting actually, even though when you figure it out, it's even more simple than the first one. So what you are gonna do is, after playing the first variant for like 10 to 20 games, you're winning because you're that one game up all the time. And when the opponents get into that mindset where they think, oh, this game is always gonna be a draw, you go ahead and with this proposal, right? You're gonna say, let's play this game differently, alright? Here's what we'll do. Your goal from now on is gonna be to find a draw, and my goal is gonna be to either win or lose this game. So if it ends in a draw, you'll get a point. If I win or if you win, either way, I'll get a point, because they say it's always gonna be a draw, so you propose that to them and they're most likely to accept that. And it's gonna be even more easy. In this case, it doesn't even matter if you start or go second. Let's just assume you're gonna start. You're always going to start in the corner, because in this game it's even easier because you do not have to watch anyways for him to win. You don't have to block him. All you need to do is set up conditions for either one of you to win, to have to win this game by force, and that's really easy to do. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit a corner as always, because that has some more possibilities, and it doesn't matter what he does. It literally doesn't matter what he does in this game. The second move that you're gonna do, because you can't prevent it, is set up a win condition for yourself, and from that point is when you're in the driver's seat. Alright, that's when you're in control. He needs to block that, and you're just gonna drive the game to a point where he has no choice but to win or let you win this game, which then again, you'll get a point for that even if he wins, because he's trying to draw the game, right? It's easier if you understand it, but people will need some time to figure that out. People need more time to figure that out than they need for the regular game, obviously. I tried this myself, so it's pretty interesting to do. You're going to always set up conditions for anyone to win. Just try to set it up for yourself first, because he needs to block it. And you're gonna always continue with that. You're gonna drive him to a point where he has no choice but to let you win or win himself. You know, if someone's trying to draw the game and the other one is trying to prevent that at all costs, the game is not gonna be drawn. That's the beautiful part about Tic Tac Toe, alright? It's not gonna be drawn because you have the option to win or lose. You have two options while he only has one, which he falsely believes to be the one option that'll always occur necessarily when people are playing, you know, perfectly. But in this case, it's just not true. Alright, try it out for yourself, try and figure it out for yourself. This is an interesting way to play. I like to bring that up usually after I've played the regular game, when people start realizing the games are always ending in draws and they're getting bored. I bring this up because, you know, that's just an easy way to get some more points on them, to keep them guessing, and then maybe play the regular game again, alright? Maybe they forgot what they would do and maybe beat them again. It's just a fun thing to do. I don't think you can make a lot of money with playing Tic-Tac-Toe because the game is not hard enough, not difficult or complicated enough to actually make a lot of money on that. There aren't going to be any professional tournaments in this game. You're not going to see the World Series of Tic-Tac-Toe on TV anytime soon because it's too easy to figure it out. But not everyone will, and if they don't know these tricks, if they do not know the math, they won't figure it out, at least not for the first couple of games. And as I mentioned, that's all you need. So go out, try it for yourself, and you're not gonna make huge money on that, but hey, you can bet someone a $5, you can bet someone a drink, whatever you want. You use that knowledge to your advantage. And also, if you want some games that you want me to cover, like in this type of series, just name the game. It should be games that are fairly popular, known internationally, and that are easy to play. That I don't have to like learn extensive rules and like buy the game if it's like a big box or whatever with a lot of stuff in it. I can cover basic games. I like those bar games, those easy to play with cards and dice. If you want to hear about that, propose whatever game you want. I'ma get behind it. I'ma do the math. I'ma work on it, and I'ma give you my view on how to best better your chances at winning any type of game by means fair or unfair. It doesn't really matter to me, and it doesn't matter for this series. I mean, it's on you to decide whether you're gonna be fair or not. For Tic-Tac-Toe though, this doesn't really matter because you can't cheat at this game. You could just outsmart people, outmath people, and you just need to do it once. That's the beauty, because you know how to draw every type of game. And for the second game, right? Remember to not do it the other way around. You don't want to be the one that's looking for a draw while your opponent is trying to win or lose, right? You want to be in that position that wins or lose, because that's the position that wins the game. Because it's hard, because you can't really force a draw if the other person is trying to prevent it, alright? So always be sure to be in that position. You don't play that type of game for that many rounds usually, but hey, just go out, try it out, figure it out for yourself, and you'll get behind it really quickly. You'll learn how to do it. You'll learn you'll see all the patterns. It works well on most people because most people are just being filthy casuals who never studied the theory, and those people deserve to get their money taken from them if they're stupid enough to put it on the line against someone who is smart enough, who has studied the theory, has done the math. And you want to be in that position of getting taken advantage of? One of the first things they teach you in gambling is you don't play someone at their own game. If you're stupid enough to do it, man, you're gonna get scammed at some point, right? So no responsibility, of course. I'm not being held responsible if you're scamming someone and they knock your face in and all right? That's not gonna be my responsibility. I'm not gonna cover that. Do it at your own risk. But it's fun. So go out there and try it out, man. Why not? Have fun, guys. Like this video if you want to. It's really important right now because, you know, we're just starting out. We're doing a lot of work to make this YouTube thing happen. So it will be really important for y'all to leave a like. Maybe just comment something. As I said, propose some games. But yeah, leave a like. That's going to be really important for us to grow the channel because that's the only type of way we can get feedback, alright? So if you're not gonna rate the video, how am I supposed to know if it's good or not? So that's the only way we can get feedback. So please remember to do that. It's really, really important, guys. We'll see you next time, alright? So just go on out, make some money with this, have fun. That's it.